Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. In this one, we are going to be talking about the four players who stood out in our massive 4-0 win against Chelsea. What a game it was. What a performance it was. I cannot actually believe it went that well. Clean sheet as well. USA tour is done now, and it's done with a lot of wins. A win against Orlando City, a win against Chelsea, a win against Everton, added to the wins against Nuremberg and Ipswich. I cannot complain at also. Which four players stood out in this game? Listen, everyone was very good in this game. Nearly everyone, even the ones that came on in the second half, surprisingly, they were very, very good. As we've already talked about in the match reaction, these are the players that we're expecting to start against Crystal Palace in the first game, unless Tierney recovers or someone like Tomiyasu recovers or something like that and starts in those positions. But I do expect these players to be the ones starting. So everyone played well, but obviously there's a couple of standout players. I didn't get to do the player ratings, but a lot of players were going to get around 8s and 9s, especially the likes of Jesus. So, like we did against Everton, we are going to be talking about the four players who stood out, players who absolutely stood out in this game. And it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Always welcome to beat Chelsea. Always amazing to beat Chelsea, whether it's in the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup or the league or a friendly, does not matter. Wherever, we are always happy to beat Chelsea. So which four players stood out? I'll start with the first one again. Surprise, Gabriel Jesus. Again, you guys would agree if we are not including Gabriel Jesus in this list and all those other lists because we are just happy we signed him. No, he's actually very, very good. Like that finish, oh my goodness. It's so like literally 2 minutes earlier, Saka had a one-on-one chance against the goalkeeper. And you saw what Saka did. He literally hit it straight to the goalkeeper. No disrespect to Saka or anything, but those are facts. Like Saka had a chance literally a few minutes before, and he hit straight to the goalkeeper. Then 2 minutes later, Jesus from the left side, the way he dinked the goalkeeper, that shows you he will score goals. I have no doubt he'll get more than 20 goals for Arsenal next season. He's going to get the chances. There's Saka to provide. There's Odegaard to provide. There's Martinelli to provide. There's Fabio Vieira when he recovers. You can get some long passes from the likes of Ben White, getting one-on-one chances. He's very, very good in terms of that. And not only that, he'll not only stand in the box and wait for a ball to be crossed or anything like that. Gabriel Jesus is the kind of player who can create his own chance. Like that is what we love as well. Like against Orlando City when he came on, you could see he went past 2 or 3 players, created a chance for himself. Against Nuremberg, his debut goal, his first goal for Arsenal, you saw how he can create his own chance. Whether it's from the left side or from the right side, it does not matter. Gabriel Jesus has the quality to create his own opportunities, to create his own space, and just a striker who's mobile. That is what we've been asking for. A striker who can run around, a striker who's a bit tricky, unpredictable. Now, we knew what Lacazette was going to do. We knew he was going to come short, maybe get the ball, then trying to hold it up for the likes of Saka and Martinelli to make a run. We knew that. And sometimes maybe if Saka or Tierney ran to the byline, we know that Lacazette would stand his ground and wait for the ball to be cut back in. He wouldn't get himself like in those kind of areas. He would cut back in and wait for the ball to be crossed to him. We know he's a bit predictable. Lacazette wasn't really the kind of striker to run in behind an opposition's defense and get a chance, a one-on-one chance. No, but Gabriel Jesus is that kind of striker. He was absolutely amazing in doing that again, and that finish was absolutely fantastic. Not only that, like I said, against Everton and Orlando City, the one thing that is impressing me about Gabriel Jesus is his combination play with our players. It seems like he's been here for 5 to 6 years. The way he's playing around with Saka, with Odegaard, the way he's understanding the play with the relationship with Martinelli as well. Like already 3 or 4 players are already getting along with him very, very well. And then to add to that, Zinchenko is also in town, they already had a relationship from before. So that definitely helps. They don't need any time to settle. Zinchenko already has Jesus there. Jesus has his Brazilians there. Both of them have Mikel Arteta there, who's worked with them before. And Gabriel Jesus is Brazilian, just like Martinelli, and he's enjoying himself with the likes of Odegaard, all young, around the same age. So it's a bit easier to get along. So that is the one thing that I absolutely loved about Gabriel Jesus. His combination play with our players, absolutely fantastic. Another standout game, I think against Nuremberg, I gave Jesus something like a 9. Against Everton, I think I gave him like an 8. Against Orlando City, I gave him like another 8. And then this time around, I think I gave him another 8. Like, he's been like average 8 out of the 4 games that he's played. Absolutely fantastic. And to think that if you're going to sign another midfielder, another winger, Fabio Vieira is going to come back as well, is going to be great, man. So Gabriel Jesus was the first standout player again, just like he was against Everton and just like he was against Orlando City. You can tell the difference. The way he can run past players, the way he finishes. You can tell. You can literally tell if you had never watched football before and I gave you that game to watch and I asked you which player had just come from Man City, you'd probably say Gabriel Jesus because it stands out way, way ahead of all the rest. You can tell, like, his energy levels, his the way he battles against all the players, his pressing. My goodness, the way he presses the opposition defenders, he'll not let them rest at all. And that is why I don't care whether people say it's just a friendly. No, he will still press in the Premier League. If he can press in the preseason, then he'll definitely press in the Premier League as well. So that was really, really nice to see. So Gabriel Jesus, first standout player, gave him an 8 for yesterday. Let's go who stood out. Our official new captain, I think, is going to end up as our captain, Martin Odegaard. Now, Odegaard, I remember Saka and Smith Rowe, the first couple of seasons they played for us, they were really good, really promising, but I kept on saying we need a couple of more assists from Smith Rowe, we need a couple of more goals from Saka. And last season, Odegaard was voted our second best player, deservedly so. He was very, very good, especially like in games like against Tottenham at home, games like that. Odegaard was absolute standout. And the one thing with him last season, I remember when everyone else was getting subbed off, Saka out with a knock, or Lacazette is off, or this one has been subbed off, that one has been subbed off. Odegaard always played 90 minutes, whichever game it was. This is against Tottenham or Everton or Newcastle, first part of the season, second part of the season. It did not matter. Odegaard was always available. But one of the criticisms I had for him is I need him to start using the right foot that I've always said. Hopefully, he does do that this season. I always feel like he gets a couple of spaces and opportunity to shoot with the right foot, but it takes too much time and he cuts it back to the left foot. And another thing is goals. We need goals from him, more goals. Like if we can get 15 from Jesus and then get like 8, 7 from Martinelli and Saka, and then you can get another 6 from Odegaard, like 10 assists or something, then you're cooking, absolutely cooking. So Odegaard, very, very good in terms of chances created, the way he just controls the midfield very, very easily. And that finish, one touch shot, bottom corner, Mendy had no chance. Absolutely fantastic finish. It was great to see. If you're watching from on Facebook or YouTube, let me know. How good is Odegaard? How good is Odegaard to you? Do you think has he changed your mind since he joined Arsenal? Because I remember very well last season, there were a lot of polls asking Odegaard or Tillemans, not Tillemans, Odegaard or Maddison, who should be joining Arsenal? Is it Odegaard? Is it Maddison who would do better? People are like Maddison, Premier League experience. People are like Odegaard. He was here on loan. He didn't do much. But since he came back last season, oh my goodness. That's why he's actually ending up as a captain, because he's not just leading by his leadership qualities, he's also leading by example. Absolutely fantastic. What a goal. It was a very good assist from Martinelli as well. And Odegaard's finish was great. If you can get more goals from him next season, I'd be very, very happy, because Odegaard is the kind of player who can play 90 minutes for you every single game. He doesn't need to be subbed off. He knows how to control his energy. He knows how to save some energy. He doesn't really he works hard, but he doesn't really overwork himself to the point of by the 50th minute he's already done. No, so it was really, really good to see Odegaard standing out again. Yet again, just like he did against those other two teams that we played against in USA, Orlando City and Everton. And he was playing in a 4-3-3 formation. And he's another one who I think even if he play a 4-2-3-1 as a number 10, he can still do well. But in that role, especially when we're playing against, I don't know if that's the same formation we are going to be using when we're playing against teams like Man City and Liverpool. I think we're definitely going to see this one when you're playing, especially home games against the bottom half teams. I think we're going to see that. But Odegaard from that position, when he knows Jacques and Partey are behind him and he has chances to create and roam around on the right side, on the left side, he's very good, because he's on that graphic. He's supposed to be on the right side, but he scored his goal almost from the left side. So he knows how to get himself in the box and stuff. And I was really, really, really happy to see that. So Odegaard stands out again. He's the second player I've put on that list. Number 3, this guy, Ben White, at right back, not at centre back, at right back. Now, as I've always said, a lot of people have been saying, I even put a poll and asked Saliba and Ben White who should be starting at centre back. And I think something crazy like 80% said Saliba should be the one starting and 20% Ben White starting. Now, there's no problem if you prefer Saliba starting ahead of White. Now, the fans that I don't like are the ones who say Ben White is crap. 50 million. No, I'm so glad Saliba is here. That I definitely do not agree with. I believe Ben White is a very, very good player. And the fact that there's a lot of reasons why I love Ben White. The fact that he can play in a lot of different positions, right back, he can play as a centre back, he can also play as a in midfield. His passing ability is really, really good. He can pass from whichever angle on the pitch. Number three, the way he pushes forward the ball. There's a run he made last season against Aston Villa where he literally took the ball from Ramsdale and ran all the way and gave it to Martinelli on the left, like past 5 or 6 players. He has that quality as well. And he's also pacey. Remember, we've been suffering a lot with very, very slow defenders over the years, the likes of Mertesacker. We don't have to do that with Ben White. Ben White is very quick. We saw it the other day against Everton. Is it Everton? I think it was Gray, Demari Gray, or Calvert-Lewin. They could not handle his pace. One of those teams, was it Orlando City? There's a time where he needed to cover back and he ran so well and he covered, I think it was against Orlando City. And yesterday, believe me or not, Raheem Sterling was on the pitch, but you could not notice him. Like when he was on that side with Ben White and Saliba, he was completely marked out of the game. Ben White was absolute class. Another thing I love about Ben White is his discipline. How many of our players last season picked up red cards? Nearly everyone. Xhaka, Gabriel, all these guys picked up red cards. How many players picked up several yellow cards? A lot. El Neni picked up a couple. Thomas Part picked up a lot of yellow cards. Gabriel picked up a lot of yellow cards. All those guys. Even Tierney picked up a couple. Cedric picked up a couple. You know, Ben White picked up 1 yellow card last season, and he's a defender. That means he's disciplined and he knows how to position himself, because the reason why Xhaka gets a lot of yellow cards and red cards is because his positioning, when he's caught out of position, is a bit slow in terms of recovering, and he has to push all the players back and hold shots and all that and commit the fouls. With Ben White, he's quick enough and his position is good enough, so he doesn't really have to foul players all the time. And there's no time that I've really seen people passing past Ben White and I'm like, why didn't you foul? Why did you let him why didn't you not block him from counter-attacking or something? Nothing like that. Like, he knows when to foul and he knows how to foul and all that. And that is why I love him so much. And on the right side, I have a feeling that even if Tomiyasu is fit, I would not be surprised if we see Tomiyasu on the bench and then see Ben White on the right side. I'd not be surprised at all if we see that. Like, if we end up seeing this a lot of times, obviously if Tin is not there, it could be Zinchenko. I would not be surprised if we see this defense next season, most of the games. Tierney, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White, or you could have Zinchenko instead of Tierney. But I'm not surprised if Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White play a lot of games together. Just like I'm not surprised if Jesus ends up starting with Nketiah up front. Absolutely not surprised. I think Ben White is great there. The only thing I usually used to say is when you're playing Ben White on the right side, you don't really get the attacking that you want, like Alexander-Arnold or Cancelo kind of crosses and stuff. But in terms of just defending, especially when you're playing against Liverpool and Man City and all these teams, I can see Ben White playing at right back really, really well. He has the pace, he has the discipline, and whenever someone like a Saliba pushes forward, Ben White can easily drop in as a centre back because he's an actual centre back. So that is something I love about him, and he knows how to pick out a pass. And I think the player who's playing in front of him, whether it's Saka or any of those players, it's easy to have an understanding with him. So Ben White at right back, he absolutely stood out for me. I think I gave him something like an 8 in terms of player ratings. He completely marked out Sterling out of that game. Like, he had no chance. Like, that game yesterday, there were 3 former Man City players, but I'd not be surprised if you only noticed 2, Zinchenko and Jesus, because Sterling was absolutely non-existent, because White and Saliba are absolutely phenomenal on that right side. So that is really, really good to see Ben White standing out again. So as Arsenal fans, please stop saying Saliba is here, White is crap, drop him to the bench. White is not crap. He's still a good player. He's a very good player. Yes, obviously, the 50 million thing has a burden on him. That is why I also didn't want him to become captain, because I know Arsenal fans very well. If he already has that burden of 50 million pounds and then you add the burden of captaincy and then he has one bad game, people will be like, why is this guy our captain? Why is he 50 million? Too much pressure. That's why I didn't want Ben White to get the captaincy. Just let him relax. Just let him play his game. The truth is, if Ben White is out of the team, we will miss him. Like, from that team yesterday, if you remove Ben White, you're going to have to play Cedric on that side or something like that. I don't mind Cedric, but I don't think he's as good as Ben White. And I think Ben White He's really good, especially if he creates a really, really good relationship with Saliba and Gabriel. I think we'll keep a lot of clean sheets. Remember last season when he had Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, not Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, and Tierney, and then Pat in front of them. And then after losing the first 3 games, Ramsdale and Tomiyasu came into the team, and then we started beating the likes of Norwich clean sheet, Burnley clean sheet. We played Tottenham, we played Brighton there, kept a clean sheet. We kept a lot of clean sheets between September, October, November, and that is because we had a solid defense and a consistent defense. If all these guys, all those 6 guys can stay fit plus the goalkeeper, like Tierney, Zinchenko, Gabriel, White, Saliba, and Tomiyasu, why have I mentioned White? All those guys, if they can stay fit together, I can see us keeping a lot of clean sheets. Like there's no chance of people scoring. Like yesterday, I had predicted Arsenal 3, Chelsea 2, but in the match build-up after I saw the starting lineup, I did say, do we really have to concede with that defense? I don't think so. Like I looked at that defense yesterday and I was like, you know what? Chelsea don't even actually have to score. Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, and Ramsdale, they don't have to score. And I remember people are really frustrated when we were conceding 3 goals against Nuremberg and then conceded, I think, against Ipswich as well. But if you actually look at the games and watch the games, we conceded 3 goals against Nuremberg. The likes of Saliba were not on the pitch when we were conceding those 3 goals. The first 2 goals in the first half. I have the squads here. I can show you the squad. If I find it, I have the squad here somewhere. So I think this is one of them. So there was this one against Nuremberg. This was the squad we had against Nuremberg. Look at the centre backs: Pablo Mari, Walters, and then Bellerin and Tierney. So Gabriel was not on the pitch. Saliba was not on the pitch, and Ben White was not on the pitch when we considered the first 2 goals of that game. Gabriel did come on in the second half. We conceded 1, but he was surrounded by, players like Bellerin on the pitch, let's be honest. So after the Nuremberg game, that's when we considered the 3 goals. The next game against was it Everton, right? Our first game in USA. We had Gabriel, Saliba starting the game. Guess what? We did not concede a goal in that game. We did not concede a goal in that game. White was missing, but even with Gabriel and Saliba on the pitch, all of a sudden the likes of Tavares and Cedric look way better than how they look when we have Pablo Mari and those other guys on the bench. So that's when we considered we didn't consider a goal at all. Against Orlando City, in the first half, that was the squad that started in the first half. Pablo Mari, Holding, Cedric, and Tavares. Guess what? Tavares' mistake is what cost us the goal against Orlando City. The moment Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White all came on, we did not concede a goal. Yesterday, when Gabriel, White, and Saliba were playing together, we did not consider goals. So every time we've had those guys on the pitch, we have not considered a goal. Every time we've had the likes of Pablo Mari and Bellerin and Tavares on the pitch, that's when we've been conceding goals. So I'd not be really worried about Arsenal conceding 3 against Nuremberg, 1 against Ipswich, 1 against Orlando City, because our actual defenders, guys that we know are going to play next season, weren't there at all. So that is a huge, huge positive. So Ben White is the third player to stand out. So I've gone through Gabriel Jesus. What a goal from him. Odegaard, captaincy material, man. Absolutely dependent. Odegaard is a kind of player you can depend on. He's going to play 90 minutes for you. He's going to provide the assists. He's going to lead the team. He already leads his country. Very, very good player. And Ben White at right back, I'd not be surprised if you see him playing at right back, even when Tomiyasu is fit. The more he plays there, the more he impresses, like he did against Everton in yesterday, the more Arteta will start using him there. And maybe we'll start using Holding. We're seeing Holding most of the times as a backup centre back when White is playing as a right back. Doesn't mean Tomiyasu is still not a good player. When Tomiyasu is fit, he's an absolutely fantastic player. The fourth player who stood out for me, this is a hard one because I think Saka did his job as well. But Saka is Saka. Saka will always do his thing. I wanted to include Saliba, but I think the Everton game was more, and I don't think Chelsea even did that much, apart from the shot that Saliba blocked. Saliba and Gabriel are great. I still gave them an 8 in terms of player ratings, but I think Ben White stood out more because he was playing at right back, not his actual position. So the fourth player I've picked is Gabriel Martinelli because of his fight, man. The fight that we need, the South American fight. This guy, he's come under a lot of criticism the last couple of weeks. I've seen a lot of people saying, I don't mind people criticizing players. I mean, we're not saying Martinelli and Saka and Odegaard are all perfect. I still need Odegaard to start using his right foot. I still need the party to shoot on target. I still need Saka to be better in terms of one-on-one finishing. All that. Every player has a single or 2 things they need to improve on. Now, a lot of people are saying Martinelli is a bit selfish. I'm not sure about that. Maybe you say decision making, but calling him selfish, I don't know, man. A lot of people are calling him selfish, I think, after the Everton game or something. I did not agree with that. But one thing that we've noticed, or someone actually said on Twitter they noticed, is what do you notice from this picture of Martinelli running yesterday? Someone said Martinelli, when when he runs, whether it's on the left or on the right, or tries to create a chance to shoot the ball, he's always looking down. Now that could be a thing. That could be true. He always runs looking down. He doesn't really look at who is in front of him. He could end up knocking a player. He could end up. He doesn't really get his head up to look at who's in the box and who's where is Odegaard, where is Jacques, all that. I could agree with that because that is a proof in that picture that Martinelli was running with looking down, and he always does that. But that is not something to really criticize him for, like, okay, Martinelli, you're not going to start because you always run with your head down. No, that is something that can be coached. You can be told, you know what, be confident in yourself, trust yourself. Because the reason why he does that is because maybe he just wants to know where the ball is. I mean, let me know. Why do you think Martinelli always runs down, runs with the ball looking down? It's really hard to know. But if he gets his head up and starts looking at who is in the box and all that, he'll become very, very lethal. But I don't think he's selfish. Maybe you can say he looks down when he's running, but not selfish. So his fight yesterday, this guy went down yesterday, Martinelli. I think he fell on his wrist or something, and he actually went down and got treatment for like 2 or 3 minutes. But right away, he got the ball. He ran past like 2 players. He kept the ball very well, and he actually got his head up. So surprise, surprise, he actually got his head up and looked at where Odegaard was, and he made a very, very amazing pass to Odegaard. What an assist, man. That pass to Odegaard was absolutely fantastic. And I'm loving his combination play with Odegaard as well, with Jesus as well. Very, very good. I know they've played together in Brazil, but not that many times, Martinelli and Jesus. It seems like they've played so many, many times together. I just love his presence and all his fight, man. That South American fight that Luis Suarez has, that Carlos Tevez had, that all those players, all those Brazilians usually have. Martinelli has the same. So I think he's one of the players that has played the most so far. Again, let me take a look at the squad that we had last time. Against Orlando City, he started on the left side. Against Everton, he started again. Against Nuremberg, he came on in the second half, and yesterday he started. So the way he's been playing more minutes than anyone else in the team, I have to think that he's going to start against Crystal Palace. I think he's definitely going to start against Crystal Palace. I think he's going to be one of the first people to be put in that team sheet. Martinelli, Jesus, Odegaard probably, and Gabriel. I think they're going to be the ones that obviously have to start. I think Martinelli will definitely start because he's fit. He's looking very, very fit. He's looking fitter than anyone else. It's looking like he's ready. He got a goal against Orlando City. He got an assist yesterday. He got another assist for Jesus last time against Nuremberg as well. He's looking very, very, very sharp. Very, very, very sharp. And I'm really, really happy with that. Next season, the thing I need him to improve on, I think Martinelli is a very good finisher. Every time I've seen him getting a one-on-one chance, he usually delivers. Like against Leeds last season, the way he chipped the goalkeeper against, was it Watford or something? There's a time, I don't know if it was Watford or West Ham. I think it was West Ham. The game was 0-0 at halftime, and then we started the second half, and then I think Martinelli scored right away. One of those games, but Martinelli is very good from one-on-one situations. He will probably score and he gets a one-on-one chance with the goalkeeper. In fact, if you ask me, Martinelli and Saka, who gets a one-on-one chance for me and I trust more, I would say Martinelli. I trust more in Martinelli than Saka in terms of one-on-one chances. Both are very, very good. Like if you could add a bit of Saka into Martinelli and add a bit of Martinelli into Saka, we'd have the perfect player. Like those guys are very, very good. Just need to improve on a couple of things. But with Martinelli next season, I think he's going to be playing a lot of the Premier League games. And then maybe if we sign any other winger or Smith, who plays better than him in a couple of games and end up starting, or Fabio Vieira is used on the left side, doesn't really matter. Or Nketiah is used on the left side. I still need him to get at least maybe 7 goals and something like 7 assists next season. I'd be very, very happy with that. We'll look at those predictions next season. So let me know, which one would you be happier with? Would you be happy if Jesus scored 40 goals this season and every single Arsenal goal was scored by Jesus? Or do you want it to be balanced? Jesus gets 15, Saka gets 9, Martinelli gets 7, Odegaard gets 5, Gabriel gets 3, Ben White gets 2. Which one would you like? Would you like it to be balanced? Or do you want Gabriel just score every single goal? So Martinelli, very, very good again today. His energy, his fight. And in terms of covering the left back, Martinelli does it so well. Like he runs back so well. Like you can't really have an attack on the left side and a defend on the left side that are absolutely dominating Zinchenko Chini, because Martinelli will be there helping out, and that is another thing I like about him. And got an assist again yesterday. I think in the player ratings I gave him a 7. So these were my player ratings from yesterday. In fact, I can just even go through them because I never actually got to post them. This was my player rating from yesterday. Ramsdale gets a 7 for me. Didn't really have much to do, but whatever I needed to do, he did, which is not much. I gave Gabriel an 8. Very, very solid, very, very dependable defender. Like when I had Juventus wanted him, I said I do not care whether they have 100 million for us. Gabriel is not for sale. I gave Gabriel an 8. I gave Saliba an 8 as well. Another very good performance. Very comfortable on the ball, makes everything look easy. Very good block on Werner. Zinchenko got a 7 for me yesterday. He only played for 45 minutes. But the thing I noticed about him, like there's a time he attempted a shot. I think I have it here. Imagine if it went in. Like it was so far, but it got blocked. Like if Zinchenko scored from there 10 minutes into his debut, I would have gone mad. So that's not the point. You could see him here again. He was pushing forward so many times. He was almost playing like a left winger. I didn't see him playing at the left back position because Chelsea didn't really have much to do, or they didn't do a lot. So Zinchenko got himself in the box. He actually got a couple of chances to shoot the ball inside the box. That is why you could actually see that he'd be very, very comfortable playing up front as an attacking midfielder or something. He has those qualities. Those 45 minutes were really, really good. Manchester City. Is the Manchester City shopping center still open? Because their players are so good. I'd be happy to take a third and a fourth player, please. Who else do they have to offer? Can they give us Bernardo Silva? Can they give us, I don't know, anyone from Man City really? Can they give us Gundogan? Because those guys are so well drilled, so energetic, so skillful. Like you can tell the difference. 2 days, Zinchenko signed for Arsenal just 2 days ago, and right away he's adapted to the team very, very easily. He got 7 for me yesterday. Ben White got an 8 at right back. Really, really impressed with his performance. I'd not be surprised if he starts the season at right back instead of Tomiyasu. He looked very comfortable there. Granit Xhaka played like a combination of Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes, Frank Lampard, Patrick Vieira, and Roy Keane yesterday. Like he was doing the defensive work, he was pushing forward. Like that third goal from Saka, like the way Xhaka was flicking the balls on top of defenders, I was like, is this Granit Xhaka really? Like, what an amazing performance from him as well. Like I know most of us are saying, Zinchenko will definitely remove Xhaka from that team. I'm not sure about that really. I think Zinchenko will play at left back most of the times, and Xhaka will always still be playing. So if you're a fan of Xhaka, that is good news for you. Xhaka will always be in the starting lineup. But the way Xhaka was playing yesterday, I was really, really impressed. Last time when he started with the midfield of against Orlando City, this midfield, it was very, very non-existent. This midfield against Orlando City of Lokonga, El Neni, and Niles was absolutely dominated by Orlando City in that first half. The moment we brought on Xhaka, Partey, and Odegaard, you could see the difference. And yesterday as well, very, very comfortable. Xhaka, Partey, and Odegaard. We do know the likes of Xhaka, you cannot trust him 100%. You know he can lose his temper a few times. Like yesterday, he was fighting with, I think it was Rhys James or something. But the thing you have to love about Xhaka is his commitment and his fighting spirit, not the fighting, literal fighting, but the fighting spirit. Like you cannot have Granit Xhaka in your midfield and get bullied. That cannot happen. That is something that we all know. You cannot have Xhaka and Partey in midfield and then you get bullied and then teams run over you and there's no midfield energy or midfield stability, anything like that. Not do that with Xhaka. Yes, he's a bit slow. You can get past him very easily and he'll foul you after doing that and pick up a silly yellow card. But in terms of just being committed, like literally that is just the perfect captain, but he ruined it. Like if I was to ask you today, you've never watched Arsenal before, I give you Arsenal games to watch and I tell you to choose a captain, you don't know about the history of Arsenal at all, you'd probably choose Granit Xhaka, You'd actually say, I like this guy in midfield, Granit Xhaka. He should be the captain without knowing the history. But then obviously with everything happening 3 years ago, we know how that ship sailed. But we've seen him getting the captaincy whenever Odegaard goes off or whenever players like Tierney go off. Xhaka usually gets the captaincy, but sometimes he even refuses. But I don't have a problem with him. I don't have a problem with Xhaka coming in for the last 25 minutes, 30 minutes and playing in the Europa League and all that. I think he can still do well. And I gave him a 7 for yesterday. Really, really good shot with his right foot as well. He shot the ball with his right foot. For that Saka goal that was saved and then it fell to Saka. Really, really good 7 for yesterday. Odegaard, I gave him an 8. The controlling of midfield, very, very good. His through passes, that goal, that finish, really, really good as well. This is a guy that if I was to ask you for your starting lineup for the game against Crystal Palace, I think all 100 of you watching on Facebook and YouTube would say Odegaard. 99 of you would include Odegaard in that starting lineup. I doubt any of you would leave Odegaard out. I don't think any of you would leave Odegaard out. This is one of the first players to put in the starting lineup. And I think he's going to have a better season than he had last season, especially in terms of scoring goals and assisting and all that. It's going to Odegaard is the kind of player to get the assist before the assist. You won't really see him with 20 assists in the league, but he has helped a lot in those types of creating those chances. So Odegaard got an 8 for me yesterday. I gave Saka a 7. He was good. He nutmegged a couple of players. He was looking really good. But the chance he missed, he didn't work on his one-on-one chance. He could easily have slipped in Martinelli in the first 5 minutes. He had a chance to have been 1-0 ahead within 5 minutes, but it was a poor shot with his right foot. He still needs to improve on that. But I'm a big fan of Saka, just like you. And as we always say, when Saka has the ball, you know that something is going to happen. And Saka Pepe, Saka 100% of the time. Come on. Like, I see Pepe playing and I see Saka playing, and I'm like, wow, Saka is the 72 million player and Pepe is the one who's coming from the academy. Like, the difference is so massive. So Saka gets a 7. Martinelli gave him a 7 for yesterday as well. I think he got subbed off. Martinelli got subbed off. Did he get subbed off? I don't think so. Wait, Tavares came in for Zinchenko at halftime. Jesus went off. Nketiah came on. Then Turner, Pepe, Marquinhos, Pepe. He actually went off in the 70th minute and Pepe came on. So Martinelli got a 7 for yesterday. Very, very happy with him. I've already talked about him. Jesus got an 8. I don't care what you say. I'm actually going to correct myself. Jesus is not the best number 9 in the league. Jesus is the best number 9 in the world. I've corrected myself. What a player, man. Like, the way he can create chances for himself, the way he can shoot with his right foot, left foot, being a goalkeeper, different kind of finishes. Very, very welcome, man. When Tavares came on, I thought he was okay. I gave him a 6. After he came on, I gave him a 6. I don't think he was bad at all. He did his job. I guess, I don't know. I know Tavares is a bit all over the place in terms of decision making and positioning, especially, and just in terms of marking out the right winger. If a right winger, very, very good right winger, plays against Tavares, is going to be absolutely tortured, man, on that right side. We know that. But I think Tavares and players like El Neni, when he plays next to Partey and Odegaard, all of a sudden he looks so good. He looks like the best Egyptian in the world. But when you put him in a midfield with Niles and those kind of players, he also looks terrible. So I don't know if El Neni is the kind of player that he really depends on who you're surrounding him with. I had a feeling with Tavares again yesterday as well. I mean, I said at halftime, I tweeted at halftime and said, Tavares, I mean, yes, we did not have a great game against Orlando City, but come on, today you're playing next to Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White. Let their energy feed off on you as well. And I think he was okay. I gave him a 6. I don't know if it was a case of Chelsea just being marked out of the game or Tavares being great or anything. I gave Nketiah a 6. I mean, he only came on in the 56th minute, and they said because Jesus had a knock. I really hope Jesus doesn't get injured, because if Jesus gets injured, I'll just drop into a sad state. I don't want to use the word depression, but it's just going to be a very, very sad situation. But he's very, very strong. Arteta did confirm that he got a knock yesterday. That's why he got subbed off. But the way they've been trying to injure him, Everton and Chelsea, it's like we've been playing Premier League games, man. So annoying. So Nketiah got a 6 yesterday. Matt Turner didn't have a lot to do. I gave him a 6 when he came on for 20 minutes against Chelsea for Ramsdale. Marquinhos got a 6. I mean, Marquinhos did attempt a couple of shots. Finally, we saw him, but then again, it was only for 20 minutes like we did against Nuremberg. I really hope he can start against Sevilla or something. I want to see Marquinhos starting and playing like 50 minutes to see how he does, because the 20 minutes is a bit difficult to judge him. But he was okay yesterday when he came on for those 20 minutes, but you can't really take a deep dive into what he showed us yesterday, because the game was already drifting away, kind of. I don't know who assisted the 4th goal for Lokonga, because I was busy celebrating the Lokonga header. I don't even remember who crossed the ball for him. So if you know, let me know who crossed the ball for Lokonga for the 4th goal. So Marquinhos got a 6. I gave El Neni a 6 as well. He was just good as well. Cedric, I think Cedric will be an Arsenal player next year, whether we like it or not. I think because he can fill in at left back, at right back, he's going to get a 6. And Pepe was on for only like 20 minutes, so I gave him something like a 5 as well. I think I gave him an average 5. Didn't really show me too much. But those are the player ratings from today, like really, really good. Ashton says Cedric. Sean says Cedric. So Cedric got an assist. So does that mean you should give him something like a 7 instead of a 6? I think Cedric really has good crosses, let's be honest. especially corners, like free kicks. Sometimes he takes some really shocking free kicks. But how many assists has Cedric gotten already this preseason? Like against Everton, that corner that Jesus scored from, it was a Cedric corner. He took another corner in that game that Xhaka headed to the post. I think his corners are really nice. And last season we scored a lot of corners, like against Leicester, against home and away, all those teams scored a lot of corners. I thought Saka really had good corner kicks last season. I thought Martinelli really had good corner kicks last season. Same with Cedric and Smith Rowe. So if they can continue like that next season with very good set pieces, that works. I mean, if you don't really have to break down every single team in the 38 games, not at all. Sometimes you'll need a penalty to do it. Sometimes you'll need one corner to do it. Sometimes you'll need a free kick to do it. Like against Burnley last season, Odegaard free kick helped us to win that game. A couple of set pieces like against Leicester away, Gabriel from a corner, it helped us. You need to take some really good free kicks and corners, take advantage of opposition teams. Some have weaknesses in terms of defending set pieces. So you really have to have different styles of playing. 3 seasons ago, all we did was run, give Aubameyang the ball. He scored every single one of our goals for like a whole season. That was too one-dimensional. 2 seasons ago, we were only using the right side with Saka. A season ago, it was only the left side with Tierney. Like, no, you need a lot of different styles of play. You need to use Tierney on the left. Tomorrow it's Saka. And that team that played yesterday, you can't really tell. Like, Odegaard was creating from the middle. Xhaka was running forward with the ball. Zinchenko was pushing forward with the ball on the left side. Martinelli was drifting in. He was running to the byline as well. Saka was creating from the right side. Ben White was pulling strings with the long passes. Ate very comfortable in midfield. Like, you have to have different styles of play. Like, look at Man City. Like Man City, it could be De Bruyne, it could be Mahrez opening up people from the right side, it could be Cancelo from defense, it could even be Ederson. For Man City, it literally even could be Ederson with the assist. Like Ederson and Alisson pick up so many assists, it's crazy. You need all those qualities. So if you have all of them, I'm really, really happy with that. So those are the 4 players that stood out for me. Gabriel Jesus, what a player. Like, since he came, how many goals have you scored since Gabriel Jesus came? 5 against Nuremberg, 4 yesterday, that's 9, 2 against Everton, that's 11, and 3 against Orlando City. 4 games with Gabriel Jesus, we have scored 14 goals. Like, that is not a coincidence, man. That is not a coincidence at all. He's been involved in a lot of them. Goals, assists, has been involved in a lot of them. Even the one that he didn't pick up the assist against Orlando City from Nketiah is the one who got tackled. He was almost scoring from that, and then it ended up on Nketiah's foot. So really, really good player. On average, so far, I think we've given him something like an 8 on player ratings. Odegaard, every time I see Odegaard playing, I'm loving him more and more every single game. Very, very class player. Ben White at right back stood out for me. I'd not be surprised if he starts at right back, even with Tomiyasu fit. And then Martinelli also stood out for me with his fight, man. He went down injured, got treated, came back, got up straight away, created a chance, got an assist. Very, very amazing on the left side. He'll always put you under pressure. The thing with Martinelli and Saka, you cannot rest if you're marking any of them. They will give you a tough game for the 70, 80 minutes. Some wingers usually rest for a couple of minutes and then they explode. Like, we've seen that with a lot of, especially strikers. Like, a striker is quiet for the entire game and then they just from nowhere get a goal. Martinelli and Saka are not those kind of players. They will pressure you for the entire 80 minutes. Like, left, right. So whoever is marking them, I feel sorry. So let me see what you guys have to say. Sean says the players that stood out are Jesus, Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba. So I agree with Jesus and Martinelli. Saliba and Saka still were very good. As you can see, I gave Saliba 8 in the player ratings. And I gave Saka 7 in the player ratings as well. Like, he was even nutmegging people. It's because Ben White played at right back position, not his actual position, and he played really, really well and marked out Sterling from the game completely. I mean, Sterling versus White and Saliba versus Werner, which one is tougher, Werner was absolutely awful. Again, I've seen Chelsea fans having a meltdown about Werner and Havertz. I've seen it, but it was also a bit of Saliba and Gabriel being so good. So I do agree still with Saliba and Saka. They're definitely going to be in the first team when we are starting the season, 100%. Sean says Odegaard is crucial by the way we play. He has to be there. Like, I know Fabio Vieira has been signed as a backup. I really hope he recovers. I think he'll make it for the Sevilla game, because if you throw in he had 14 assists and 9 goals last season, Fabio Vieira. If you throw in that into this team and you add Tielemans and someone else, you're really, really going to do good. So I don't really think Fabio Vieira is going to displace Odegaard from that position at all. I think what is going to happen is, if you're playing a 4-3-3 and playing at home, we are going to see Let me get this lineup. We are going to see maybe Xhaka not being there, and then maybe see Fabio Vieira in that place where Xhaka is on screen. Or we could see Fabio Vieira on the left side instead of Martinelli, because he can also play as a left winger. But I don't think Fabio Vieira will displace Odegaard. Yes, he can play in the FA Cup games and Carabao Cup games and Europa League games, but that is so welcome, man. Just knowing that Odegaard, even if Odegaard is not there, we can have Saka as a number 10. We can have Fabio Vieira. If we add Tielemans, please let's add Tielemans into that midfield. Things would look so good. So Odegaard has to be there, basically. Really has to be there. Tactical, how are you? It says Odegaard has and will continue to be sensational. I'm going to confess, as I said 1 season ago, I was one of the ones saying, why are we signing Odegaard instead of Maddison? Absolutely not. That was changed a long time ago. You'll never hear me saying that again. Odegaard is just so special. The way he controls that midfield, like literally, if you didn't watch the Orlando City game, just go back and watch that game. Niles was playing in the same position as Odegaard. Just look at the first half from Niles and look at the second half from Odegaard. Like the difference in quality is so huge. Like the gap is so huge, man. Sean says the team we played yesterday will be the team we see for the first 5-6 games of the season. I think so too, unless Tomiyasu really recovers and plays really well. But we only have one preseason game remaining, so the point about preseason is, especially the last 2 games of preseason, the players who start those 2 games are the ones who are going to start for you in the Premier League. So I don't think we'll see Martinelli getting dropped, Partey getting dropped, White getting dropped. No, especially not after playing that well. Martinelli and Ben White, I don't think so. But I do agree with you. I can see that exact team, exactly the way it is. I don't know what happens to Nketiah. I still do have a feeling that we'll see both Nketiah and Jesus on the pitch at the same time a lot, maybe even 20 times next season. They're already getting along very well. That is another one I forgot to mention. Jesus and Martinelli have looked really good. Jesus and Odegaard have looked really good. Jesus and Saka have looked really good. And Jesus and Nketiah looked exceptional. Like, we are talking about goals. It seems like Jesus has gotten so many assists as well. I just remember the assist with Saka's goal against was it Everton or something? He did, and he assisted. Wow, Gabriel Jesus is just amazing, man. So I do agree with you. And I'm seeing people asking for backup strikers. I think Nketiah is going to be that one. I don't think we'll send another striker. I think we'll send a midfielder and a winger. And I don't mind it. I mean, Nketiah has looked good. If you put all the last 15 games preseason and last season together, things are looking good. And stop saying it's preseason. It's not just preseason, man. Come on. You can easily carry on that form. I keep on repeating, last season, remember when he played against Hibernian Rangers, against Chelsea, and also Tottenham in preseason, and we lost almost all of those games. Remember what happened? We carried on that form to the season. Lost to Brentford, lost to Chelsea again, lost to Man City. Now that we've won all these games and players are feeling confident, we've won a trophy. I mean, we are going to celebrate it. Man United celebrated the Bangkok Cup, so we are going to celebrate this one for sure. You're going to carry on that form next season, and the kind of relationship these players are creating. There's a lot of relationships you need on the pitch, but the ones that are really most important for me is the relationship between the centre backs, that is Gabriel and Saliba, the relationship between the winger and the fullbacks, so Tomiyasu, Ben White with Saka, and Martinelli with Zinchenko, Tini on that side, and obviously the number 10 and the striker. Like, if they can get firing. Like, sorry for reminding you about these guys, but you know how Van Persie and Fabregas did for us. Like, if you can get a combination of that kind, or like a De Bruyne and Aguero, like you can get even 20 assists for one player, even Drogba and Lampard, that kind of combination. I think Odegaard and Jesus could absolutely match that. If they can create a relationship and we are sure that they're going to play every single game, I'm really happy with that. So thank you for your comment, Sean. Let's see. Ashnad says Cedric as well. Thank you. No, we want Saka to get 70 minutes again. What do you mean? We want Saka to get 70 minutes again. I mean, Saka is a definite starter. I think he's going to always be starting games. He's going to always be starting games. And I think he's always going to be subbed off, because now we allowed 5 subs. I think the likes of Saka and Partey and Martinelli are the ones that are going to be subbed off a lot. Like, from the 5 subs, I think Jesus could be subbed off as well from Nketiah most of the times. I think Odegaard is the one who might just be playing every single minute. Even if you have 5 subs or 7 subs, Odegaard is the kind of player with Gabriel who can just play every single game. Granit Xhaka as well. I can't see Granit Xhaka getting subbed off. The ones who are going to be subbed off are Saka for someone else, Martinelli for Smith Rowe maybe, Jesus for Nketiah, maybe Partey for Elneny if you already have a lead, and maybe Tomiyasu if he's starting, or Tierney if we don't want them to get injured and we've already won the game. That could happen. Or if you're trying to defend, you could see Holding coming in for one of the strikers, maybe Jesus. Stars cross for Stambi. Thank you, Wagames. Thank you, Adekola. Number 6 was fine for Suarez. Yeah. Thank you. He was only on for how many minutes did he play? Just 20 minutes. So yeah, I think 6 is fine enough. Tavares had a decent game, so long for him to allow him a chance to grow and improve. I really want him to get loaned out to a Premier League team. That is what I need to happen, not to Serie A or to, I don't know, the La Liga. I need him to play against these wingers in the league. I need to see how he does against Salah. I need to see how he does against Mahrez. I need to see how he does when he's up against Wilfred Zaha, how he does when he's up against Sonny and all those players. I want him to get more fit in the Premier League, play another season in the Premier League, get more used to it. Because if he can go back to La Liga and then you come back and then it's a whole different case again in the Premier League. So I want him to see how he does in the Premier League. Maybe Brighton wanted him, but now that since they've not sold Cucurella yet to Man City, they've not gotten him. How are you, RK? I'm doing very good. I mean, what a preseason so far. I really, really enjoyed watching these players. Not only that, the kit that we were wearing the other day, the black kit, looked so exceptional. Our new players are firing. Jesus, Zinchenko. Cannot wait to see Fabio Vieira playing. Arteta confirmed yesterday that this result does not change anything because it is so easy. We know what can happen. After you win all your preseason games 5-0, 4-0, the manager can easily say, you know what, we've already beaten all these teams. We don't really need to sign anyone else. But he actually did say that we're still, it doesn't change the plan, and that is really, really good to hear. I think we'll still sign 2 players and get another one on loan. That is 3 players. I still think we're going to get rid of Torreira, Bellerin, Pablo Mario, all these guys. I think the US tour has been really good. The combination play has been really good. The subs have been made out at the perfect time. He didn't really risk Jesus and Saka in like 2-3 games when they're getting fouled. He subbed them off right away. I love that. The only criticism I have about Arteta in this US tour is the squad that we picked. I do not know why they picked 5 goalkeepers. I don't know why Randerson traveled. I don't know why Torreira was traveling. I don't know why all those players were picked for the US tour. I would have picked Patino instead of Torreira because we know Torreira is not going to be here. It was such a waste of time taking him to USA because he didn't even finish the tour. He went back to Serie A. And if you guys have noticed, let's be honest, when Torreira signed for Arsenal, he was we thought he was going to be a pit bull, in midfield, like Gary Medel or those kind of players. No, Torreira cries so much for a player who should be shielding your midfield. He always complains, I don't like London. I don't like London weather. I don't like London food. I want to play in this area. I don't want that kind of energy at Arsenal. He kind of reminds me of Guendouzi. So the faster we get rid of all these players, the better. Cedric, thank you. Arsenal and don't like Cedric. Ekene says don't like Cedric. But now all these other positions that we keep on talking about, right back, left back, winger, you can sign 10 players if you want. But for me, I'd not be happy if you went to sign a right back before you sign a midfielder. I would not be happy if you signed a winger before you signed a midfielder. If we get Tielemans, then you can try and get all the wingers, all the right backs that you want. But I'd not be happy if you just signed a right back today and then leave our midfield open. If Tomiyasu is not there, I still think Ben White can do the job on that right side. Well, Cedric is not the worst player to ever play for Arsenal. I don't think Mustafi, I can tell you 10 mistakes that Mustafi made. I can tell you 10 mistakes that Bellerin has made. I can tell you, even Jacques can tell you 5 to 10 mistakes he's made. From last season, if I ask you right now, how many mistakes can you remember Cedric making? You watched a game and you're like, this game, this goal, this was because of Cedric. This is why we consider this goal. He will take some time to think of it because it never really cost us that many goals. Yes, sometimes you can say his crossing is bad, but I think his crossing is good. Maybe you can say there's better right backs. Definitely, there's better right backs than Cedric out there. But the fact that he can play as a left back and he can play as a right back, and he's just like Elneny, he just gets along with everyone. He doesn't really care if it starts or doesn't start. I think that is something very good to have in the team. And if Cedric plays in the Carabao Cup and comes in the Europa League, I don't really mind. So I don't think right back is our biggest problem. I don't think centre-back is our biggest problem. I don't think the right wing is our biggest problem. I think midfield is our biggest problem. Even if we signed Gnabry and Rafinha and didn't sign a midfielder, I'd not be happy. That money that we are going to pay 70 million for Nabri, that money that you guys wanted us to pay for Nabri, 70 million, I'm not a fan of that. Get that 70 million and get Milinkovic Savic. Get that 70 million and get Tillemans in another midfielder. Then we can be happy because we know our team is looking really good. Just like last season, we won a lot of games. Last season was a really good season apart from the end. But if you looked at the team, everyone said the first team is really good. The first team, Arsenal first team is really good. The problem is the bench. That applies the same with yesterday. That team in midfield was really good with Partey and Odegaard, all those guys. But the moment Partey gets injured again, we are going back again. We are going back to Lokonga playing in a pivot role. We are going back to Niles. We are going back to El Neni. El Neni will be great for 2 games, but the third one will not be great. You see, that is the problem. So you need to sort out your midfield first before getting any other players. If you add Tillemans to that team, then you're absolutely cooking. But I don't think needing a right wing and a right back is as more important than getting a midfielder right now. I still feel like we need midfielders first. And then with the money that is remaining, you can try and get a backup striker. You can try and get another right back or try and get another winger. That is fine. But as of now, get midfielders first. So again, I was saying I think Arsenal fans don't like Cedric. I think 60% don't like him, 40% are okay with him. I don't hate him. As I said, if I was to ask you how many mistakes he made last season, you'd have to sit down and think about it. That is because there's not any mistakes that really cost any goals. I'm enjoying watching Arsenal, absolutely Sean. 3 goals against Orlando City, another 4 against Chelsea, 5 against Nuremberg. Nelson is scoring goals. Lokonga is scoring goals. Jesus is getting goals and assists. Odegaard is getting goals and assists. Nketiah is scoring. Saka is scoring as well. Martinelli is scoring and getting assists. Things are looking good. And Partey has been fit for 4 games. That is a miracle in itself. Partey is not injured at all. Yesterday match, Adekola says yesterday's match doesn't look like a friendly match the way both teams started the match, but Arsenal guys truly overpowered Chelsea guys. It was a really beautiful match to watch. I've seen Chelsea fans having a meltdown, like complete meltdown. Like midfield was dominated. And they've actually given Arsenal a bit of credit. They've been saying, Jesus, why didn't we sign Jesus? Why did we let him go to Arsenal? Jesus is 100 times better than Werner. This is what Chelsea fans have been writing. Like they've given credit to players like Gabriel and Saliba. That defense is solid. Like if Saliba, Gabriel, and White can play together, like I'm sure we'll keep a lot of clean sheets. Like I'm 100% sure they are going to keep a lot of clean sheets. RK, thank you for the super chat. Happy with the win. Really, really good win. Again, another win, and very important for carrying on that form into the season. I cannot complain about it at all. Back-to-back wins like that, USA 2 or 3 wins out of 3. And it's not just about a case of Arsenal only beat Nuremberg, a second division German team. No. We've now beaten actual Premier League teams in Chelsea and Everton, the same teams that we're going to play next season. So that is very, very important. So Crystal Palace lost all these games at the beginning of the season. If you can pick up wins, I had a dream yesterday, and it was a very good dream. You start the season beating Crystal Palace 3-0, beat Leicester 4-0, then you have Bournemouth and Fulham win all of those games and get top of the table after the first 5 games. That would be such a welcome sight. But I do know Crystal Palace is a whole different challenge, especially away from home. But if you can carry on this form and win at Crystal Palace at the beginning of the season, that is a very, very good game to win. Crystal Palace away from home, absolutely welcome. RK says, please subscribe and smash the like button. Really, really appreciate it. So thank you guys for joining. We'll do more of this. We have another game next weekend against Sevilla. The players are currently traveling back to England. What a tour of USA, what a tour of Germany as well. Really, really enjoyed it. A lot of standout players. I cannot wait for the likes of Zinchenko and Marquinhos to play more games. Fabio Vieira will be back to that team. Smith-Rowe will be back into that team. Smith-Rowe has been injured as well. Tomias will be back. Tierney will be back for next season. You'll sign another couple of more players. Things are looking good. And I'll end it by saying this. Chelsea, can we play you guys every single week? Thank you for watching. Catch up with you guys on the next one.